Alright, what's up everybody? We're just getting set up here. You can see that we've got all the goodies that came in the box set on my computer so we can get into Betaflight very shortly. Alright, here we go. We got to plug in the soldering iron too. Let's get that going, because we will need that. Alright. This here spread out before me is the quad box mystery micro box that they did over the last month or so. And I'm sure you can see already that we have a Beta FPV 2S whoop, micro whoop type of deal. Now, I have looked at all this stuff here. I don't believe this is necessarily the 2S Pro. I've seen some of the videos, or the Beta Whoop 75X2 or X Pro, or I don't know. There's so many of these guys out. I believe the Pro has 0802 or 03 motors, and this guy here has got 1103 motors. I don't know if this is the V1. I'm not all up on all this 2S stuff, because I personally don't feel like it has, you know, a specific place in the market. I find them, for me and for people that got experience flying and stuff, I feel like they're too fast for inside, and you know, not quite enough for outside. Like if I want to go outside, I'll just fly 2.5 inch, like a full real deal micro. Any which way, all that to say, I bought the box. We're gonna put it together and I'll see for myself. Now, I did see an interesting point today that, you know, for a beginner standpoint, you get one drone and you could do you can fly indoors and out. It does work for both ways. So I guess for, you know, buying one drone to get started, it makes sense maybe for that. But, you know, for a new user, it might be too fast for inside, get frustrated, you know, not quite fast enough. It could get lost, or, you know, wind could blow them around or what have you for outdoor. I don't know. I'm going to fly it for myself, and we're going to really take a good opinion. You know, I'll get my own personal opinion. So this is everything in the box. We got a full-on setup. Get a little card here, and that'll take you into the support page for them. Sticker sheet. There you go. All right. And this kit does come with everything you need, except a receiver. Except a receiver. I guess to make it more usable for everyone. Put your own receiver in it, and anybody can buy it. We are going to use a XM Plus for this guy. So that's that. We got that ready. Let's take a look at the frame. Now, from what I've seen, it looks pretty much like their, you know, standard 75mm whoop size frames. It's got the little spot for the LED, and the LED comes in the package, so we'll get into that. So there you go. It's going to take a we'll get to the battery in a minute, but yeah, that's going to be back. Here's the props. These are, I guess, the 41mm. We'll check that later to confirm it. All right, we got these ginormous whoop props. Let me see, I'll get you. Actually, I think they're bigger. Here is a standard 31mm. Here is this one, and I believe this was a 40mm. Yeah, it's a 41mm or 40mm, whatever it is. So there you go. There's your prop. Canopy, just a standard little Bobo canopy. Alright, let's crack into the boxes, because this is where all the goodness is. This box here, we got the battery. Now, their Pro version, I believe, runs off of 2 tiny whoop batteries with JST, you know, 2.0 connectors, but this has got an XT30 with a 350 milliamp hour 2S pack. So there you go, and I only got one of those, of course. This box here, here's the motors. These are 1103, 11,000 kV motors. Now, I believe their first version, they were 16,000 kV, and the Pro version is 12,000, I believe, and they're 08s, I think. Again, don't quote me on all this stuff. You can look it up and figure it out. But this one is 1103s, or the first one might have been 1103s. I don't really know. But this is the 1103 version. Okay, we got 4 of those, and they look to be all the same. I don't see anything that's specifically different. Connectors all look the same. Yeah, I think they're all the same, so we're probably going to have to do the mapping in... We're going to have to do the mapping inside of BL Heli. Maybe they've already done that. Let's get below this guy here. And we got all our motor screws. Alright. Here we got the flight controller. And this is their 2S Whoop flight controller. You can see we got 2 boards down here. The rubber grommets. We got the little pin header insert, the rubber grommets and the screws. Let's take a look at the board here. Now, I was kind of displeased that the locations on here are not marked out for what they are. Only thing marked out is back here for the camera, but the camera slots in with the pins, so you really don't even need to know that. You really need to know where your receiver goes and where the LED goes. And of course, on their support page, they did not have a pinout diagram, but I did find one, so we'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, so there you go. This is you know, Form 1 ESC on the bottom. We're already set up for an XT30. Motors will slot in through the sockets, and then the camera will go on here, which I'll show you in a minute with the pin header. Receiver goes over here, and LED also goes over here. And that's all the goodness for that. And the camera. This is the Z02, Beta FPV Z02 camera. So it's going to be 25 milliwatt, and it's going to be a separated design like this. So here again, here's our pin headers. I'll show you what's up with those. We get 2 3D printed mounts, which one is, I believe, 30, one is 35. And for as fast as this thing is, I'm probably going to put the more aggressive mount on there. Let's see if I can tell which one's which. Looks like this black one is the more aggressive mount, so that's what I'm going to go with. It looks like it's going to be 30, 35 degrees or so. The camera slots in like that. Then these pins get slotted into the pin header when you install the pin header onto the flight controller, which is what we will do very soon. And then they get screwed on like that. Alright. Oh, and the LED. If I can get into this stupid package. Sometimes I hate these stupid foil packs. Alright, we got our signal, ground, and 5 volts for the LED that came in there. And then here is the LED board. It's going to go on the back, and it's going to be Betaflight controllable. So you got 5 volt ground in, and then the out there is, if I believe, if you're going to put it series. So this is going to slot in here some way, somehow. I believe like so. So that's going to go like that when we eventually get that on there. We'll figure that out later. Alright. First thing I always do for these guys is plug it into Betaflight and see what is happening. I'm just going to take a quick look. And I can tell you, all right. So we are set up with Betaflight 3.5.0 out of the box. UART1 is going to be our serial connection, and UART6 is already set up for our smart audio, which this pin for the you can see there TX6, and then UART1 is up over here, which I'll show you when we go to solder it on. So we got smart audio and our receiver already selected. For me, I'm using FR Sky, so I would select that. We'll get D-Shot 600. The motors are selected to run in reverse, so we'll get into that once we get this guy booted up. Set on 8.8, Beta 75. This is the Beta 75X2S is what they have listed in here. 35-degree camera angle. It is set up for S-Bus. OSD. Anti-gravity. Filter. They have the beeper set up. Blah, 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 blah. Alright. So basic configuration is already in there. PID tuning we will come back to later. Receiver, for me I use AETR, so I'm going to switch that because it is set up for T whatever. And then I'm also going to have to come back and select my RSSI channel when we get to that. Modes. ARM is on mode 1. Angle is on, or excuse me, ARM is on aux 1. Angle aux 2 at the top. I'm going to take out horizon. Cush FPV, what's happening? Okay, so we got angle on aux 2. I'm going to put air mode also on aux 2 in the middle position because that's a 3-position switch. Beeper is going to go on aux 2 at the back. And this is just, you know, when you're setting up modes, you set them up for yourself, and then flip over after crash is going to go aux 3. And we'll keep that real basic. Alright, so, yep, you get your box soon, and guess what? You will know how to build this bad boy. Let's see. They pretty much have everything set up out of the box already. So if you're FR Sky, it's pretty much ready to go. You just stick everything where it's supposed to be, and it will get going. I'm just gonna move some of this stuff around on the OSD because I like to put it the way I like it. Alright, take out the module, throttle position, and I'll show you once we get all this going. I'll do a test flight, and you'll be able to see how I set up my OSD if you even care. Take out the crosshair, and we need VTX channel. Because we do have smart audio here, which is awesome. Disarmed. Okay. Don't mind that. That is my crazy, ridiculously loud sump pump. What's up, Rob FPV, the last airbender? What's happening? Alright. So out of the box, this flight controller is set up for 3.5.0. Alright, where do we want to start? Let's crank the motors on because they just go on, and like I said, I don't see any inherent difference between the motors as far as direction wise, but we can fix that. And if they, you know, as Beta FPV does anything like I know they do, chances are they've already set that up. Now my Tiny Hawk I had to get a new board for the Tiny Hawk, and they did not set the ESC properly, which was pretty disappointing. Alright, so these little screws are Phillips head screws for the motors. We won't spend too much time with this. We'll just get a couple screws in here. Tell you what, I'm just going to pre-start 2 screws in each of these. The plastic's pretty tight, so the screw will hold in the plastic. Get these all started. Yep, they're all starting to come out now, so I'd like to get everybody kind of going forward. Now, I've never built one of these 2S versions. This is my first 2S whoop version. I've had 2S 2-inch drones, but I've custom made them with 16x16 stacks or 20x20 stacks. I was never a big fan of the 2S because it felt like it's too fast for indoor, not fast enough for outdoor. But we're gonna give it a try, and hey, if I don't like it, we'll put it up on the old RCG. Okay, so we'll screw the screws in, not too tight, and hopefully they've got this set correctly in the heli. It's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Like I said, I'm just going to put 2 screws in for now just to kind of keep this moving, but I will go back and put the other screws in for sure. I don't see the point in flying with 2 screws. The amount of weight savings you get doesn't add up, and that's for everything. 5-inch, whatever. Alright. So there we go, we got 4 motors on. Like I said, I just put 2 screws in there for now, but I'll fix that later. The 1103, 11,000 kV. There we go. Now, next we're going to mount the flight controller. But before we mount the flight controller, we're going to have to do... Well, I guess we probably can do it while it's mounted, but I'm going to do it over here so I don't melt the frame. This piece right here... Okay, this is a little socket, alright, a little pin socket. And this is going to have to go right back here. If you can see, the TX6 cam VTX ground 5 volts. That's going to be all your goodies for the camera. Now, it fits in very loose. So, with that said, we're going to have to solder that. Because I don't see any other way. And it's soldered on here, so we can't get to the bottom. So I don't know why they wouldn't have soldered this pin header on here. Because, to be honest, I'm not really sure how this is going to go. I mean, this is super tiny, super tight. I mean, how you would typically do something like this is you would solder from the underneath. So if you see these pins here, see how they solder from the bottom of the pins? Right? So they just put the socket in and soldered the bottom. So how the hell would we do this? With this connected? I mean, I guess we could take it apart. I really don't want to do that. It's got 2 sets of pins, which is a pain. So what I'm thinking I'm going to try is to leave it out a little bit, get some solder started, and see if I can't flow this up. This is definitely a pain in the rear end. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work out, but once you get the socket on there, the VTX will slide in there real nice. Yeah, this sucks. Because I looked at the bottom of this camera, it don't have enough pin. Like the pins aren't long enough to make it into those holes. See how they're real short? They need that socket. So we're gonna have to do some real tricky soldering here. I hope we don't screw it up. Man, this sucks. I thought about just doing it with wires, but the problem with that is the VTX will be kind of floating around. Plus, these pins aren't really labeled on the bottom. I guess they are. 5 round VT. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I know, it is a lot of money for something not put together. That is true. It was supposed to be a money savings, but I seen the new Pro version for $99 already built, so I'm honestly not happy about it either. Dead ass serious, and especially with this. This pin header should have been put on. I mean, for real. I honestly, you know, I'm pretty decent at soldering, but this one's going to be tough. This is going to be tough. I have no idea exactly how I'm going to manage this. Yep, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to fall off. I'll tell you, I'm only going to try this a couple times, and then we're just going to go to wires if I can't figure it out. If I can't get it easy enough. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is no good way to do that. Absolutely no good way to do that. That should have been really added beforehand. That's a super flaw there. This stupid little thing should have been added beforehand. Because otherwise, how in the world are you going to get it to go in? $4K camera for the whoop? No, not for these little guys, I don't think. Epic fail. Epic fail for these dudes on this one. So I think the easiest thing for me is honestly just to hit up some wires on this guy, because honestly I don't see how I can get those pins in. If I was ever going to use that pin header, like I said, I would solder it from the bottom. You would stick the pin header in and then solder the back of it, like where the pins come through. That's how that's supposed to work. But they got the board stuck together, so how are you supposed to put the socket on there? Now you gotta try to solder these super dinky tiny pads that are meant for a header, not for wires. Epic fail. Unless I'm missing something. I don't think I am. Certainly possible. I certainly could be missing something. Alright, so we got 5 volt. Fuck. Christ. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, we're back. Alright, so we got VTX cam. Need to find another little piece of wire for the other two. Find some little wires, some thin stuff. And once you get this crap all figured out, it really should be a quick build. Cam. And the last one will be the UART. Alright, now I'm going to take a nice close look, make sure none of it is overlapping. I don't believe any of that stuff is touching. It's not the cleanest looking thing, but trust me when I tell you, these guys are super tiny. Just clean up that one. Right, we'll come back and fix that. If everything is tight, I don't think anything's touching, so we're going to leave it like that. Now, the next thing we have to do is get into the receiver. Now, like I said before already, the website, the support website that Beta FPV provides doesn't have a pinout, but I was able to find a pinout if you just Google it. What did I say? Beta FPV 2S pin out. And the link from of course this is not the links thing. Alright, so the product link, that's for the ESC. Alright, so any of the product links, I'm on Progressive RC's website, and they have a pinout on there for this flight controller. So I'll just show you, once we get it connected, I'll be able to show you what is what. So let's see. This little pin, where's my tweezers? This little pin here says RSSI. Then we've got 3-volt S-bus ground. See now, on the other one I seen it had, where do you put the, ground 5-volt. Okay, so it's ground is this one. Alright. This is ground right here, 5-volt S-bus. And if you need 3-volt, 3-volt is this one up here in the corner. And then also, see now the other one I had the LED, picture of the LED. RX3, TX3, RX1, TX1, ground, 5-volt, 3-volt, PPM. Bugs, minus, plus, null, ground. And I think the LED goes up on this piece up here. The link that I had used before. All right. Let's see. All right, what you got going on here? Yep, save the bill calls from the company. Caddx turtle in that frame? I don't know. I think it's going to be tight. Bind and fly freestyle. That's a good question. Alright, why can't I find? All right, there we go. Found it. All right. Okay, I'm sorry for that. Let's get some stuff sided up and I can show you where everything goes. So, S-bus is there. Ground and 5-volt. Ground. this guy. I'm going to shorten these up a little bit. I honestly have no idea where I'm going to stick this thing. So we'll kind of see once we get it built where everything's going to go. But I at least want to get the receiver on there so we can connect it and see what's going on once we put it together. I always like to add camera and everything after we make sure everything's working. Alright. S-bus. Ground and 5 volts. Alright. So now I can show you here. Alright. That is where your connections are going to go. So you got yellow is the S-bus, black is the ground, and red is the 5 volt. Okay. Now this corner underneath this, right across from the yellow, is going to be your 3.3 volt. So that would be right underneath here would be your 3.3 volt, and your DSMX would be second row down. This would be your DSMX if you're running Spectrum. Okay. That's what they got it listed as, and we'll connect the LED later once we get that all put together. Alright, let's get this guy mounted into the frame. So we know the LED mount here at the back is going to be the back of the frame. We're going to need the screws from this guy, or at least the rubber grommets. And if I look at the camera mount, that's going to take 3 screws, and this is going to take 2 screws. So I can screw in the back screw, because nothing is going to be added into that back screw spot. I gotta say, I am super disappointed with the way they didn't put that pin header on there for the VTX. That's super crappy. I would have sat here for an eternity trying to solder on that stupid ass pin connector. Alright. Slide this in the back. Now this should just kind of fit down over. Alright, so you can see I kind of stuck it right through there, through the bottom piece, and then we just got it sitting on the mounts there. And I'm going to screw in one of the back screws just so we don't lose it. And I'm pretty sure the back screw doesn't have anything else like the camera and all that other stuff. Just go right down. Alright. So now the board is in its spot. Let's connect all the motors. So we're just going to connect them to their corresponding location. And I'll tell you, if you can buy this thing for $100 built, buy it for $100 built. I build a lot of drones, and this thing is annoying. Get it properly built. Man, that pin header, that's just pissing me off, man. Super pissing me off. The other thing too is if I turn this thing on and all the motors are in opposite directions because they didn't set it up right and BL Heli, I'm gonna be super pissed. Super pissed. Alright. So again, you just put your motors in. Oh, I tell you what. Did I get this the right direction? Yeah, I did. I got lucky. You want to make sure your arrow is pointing to the front, right? Forgot to check that. You got your LED strips in the back. Your arrow is pointing forward, right? And then your motors are just going to go into their corresponding slot that's, you know, next to where they are. And I'm just going to tuck the wires down. So we got something like that for now. All right, and at this point, we are ready to get into the controller. At this point, I like to get into the controller, bind it up, and make sure that it works before I waste the rest of my time. So I don't know where I use this XM Plus receiver. God only knows. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set up a model. In here. Alright, this model basically is just my just like my basic setup. I'm not going to do anything crazy yet. So for an XM Plus, we need D16, and we're going to set that to 4. And we're going to bind. My failsafe is set. Basically, it's all my normal stuff. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this other 2S battery I have, and we're going to get ready to bind it. Hit bind, telemetry on. We're going to get this ready. Hold the bind button. Ooh, got some sparks now. Alright, we should be bound. We're not bound. Hold the button. Okay, now we got it. Green light is solid. That should work now. Why you no work? I literally had this in another build. So, oh, there it goes. All right. All right. So we got bind here. We got a green light on there. All right, good deal. So they already set it up correctly. You can see my motors are spinning, and this thing keeps cutting out on me. All right, so we got motors spinning. I'm checking them. They're spinning the right direction, outward, right? Counterclockwise, or the prop spinning outward from each duct. That's just the way they set this one up. Alright, so now at this point, we know we have connection, we know it's working, we know all the modes are holding. Now I can go on and continue with the annoying camera install here. Figure this guy out, because now we're going to have to solder up all these connections. And we're going to have to do that. We're also going to need to solder up the LED. So let's see what we got here. Alright, so now we go to the pinout. Let's get the LED soldered on and out of the way. So for this, we're going to need in, it's going to be the signal, ground, and 5 volt. Let's go ground. Volt. Input. Alright, so for the LED, again, we've got our in, ground, and 5 volt, right? And I believe the output is going to be for if you're going to daisy chain it to another LED set. Stick that guy in. As much as I can tell, that's how that's going to go. You see that there? Alright. Now, yes, I don't know, run this. Run this up underneath and poke it out through these little holes. Alright, so we got LED strip, ground, and buzzer positive. Buzzer positive is a 5 volt, so we can use that for the LED. Power, because I'm not going to put a buzzer on this guy, at least right now. So, we got LED is going to be the in pad on the LED to the LED pad of this board. then next to that is going to be the ground. And then above that is going to be the 5-volt. Or the buzzer positive, which will be 5-volt. So you can see how I have that looped around. I just kind of went below, we went down, and then through that little hole, and then up through here, and then when the canopy goes on, that'll cover all that up. And then right here, we have all of our VTX wires, which we're going to now connect. So now we need to get our VTX wired in, and then we can get the camera screwed down. And that was originally supposed to go here. And I believe this goes on top. So I'll kind of hold it all in there like that. Alright, let's get this wired up so we can figure it out. And again, why am I wiring this? If you're just coming in here, they did not solder on the socket header. And the way they had it soldered together, I just couldn't, I didn't see a very functional way to solder that thing on there without making a mess. So I felt like it was going to be easier just to do a little bit of wire, connect it. Probably not the best way, but I think it's for me, it was the more guaranteed way. So we just need to kind of get this guy in here close enough. Now, on the top end of the VTX, if you can see, it is labeled so you can see what's what. So I know the first one is 5 ground V, so it should go in order. It should just go right in order. Again, this is going to be hard to do because it's not made for this. But I don't think they gave us a choice. Alright. So we got power. Nope. No, I don't. I don't think this is going to work. I just think it's too tight. Now I got it all jumped up. So now I got solder crossing the bridge pins. The pins between ground and pin between ground. Okay, I just got it finally separated. Maybe soldering to the pin on the bottom. Maybe that, but that's still I just don't know where the hell to get this pin header on. Really did not make this easy. If any of you's watching there got an idea, I am open for ideas. Alright, if you're watching, what I am doing here is pretty ridiculous, but I don't honestly see a way around it because of the way they sent it. They didn't put the pin header on, and the only way I could see, I just couldn't see getting that pin header on the right way without making a pure mess out of it. This is not proving to be any easier because this was made to be plugged in with the pin header, so this is proving to be rather ridiculous. And I would like to see other people's videos and what all these other guys have in mind to fix this problem or to combat this problem, because I honestly couldn't figure it out, or at least, you know, in a quick manner. So what I'm doing now is I'm soldering wires to this pin headers where it's supposed to be connected. Is it right? I don't know. Will it work? Probably. Should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. But it is not pretty, that I will say. But once you get the canopy on, who really cares, I guess? Oh, I just made a mess out of that. So goddamn small, I can barely see anything. Right now, I'd like to just throw this thing right back in the box, send it back where it belongs. Alright. I think I got this all soldered up. It's pretty ridiculous that I just had to do that. Okay. Now we need to do a little bit of a video check to see if what I just did even works. So I got my little screen.
Welcome to OpenTX.
And we're going to plug her in. Alright, we got all the lights. And usually I think they come up oh, there we go. F1 is the stock channel. So there we go, we got video and we've got OSD. So we know that it works. The only other thing I need to do is check to see if smart audio works. And it is working. Alright. We know we're good with that. Now, we know everything works. Now we can button this guy up and give it its first test flight with all the settings that they gave it. I'm not going to make any settings. So let's see here. Now the camera's going to go in that frame up here. We got smart audio, so we don't really need to worry about that. So we're going to have to tuck all this crap up under the canopy. So now that this is not connected with the pin header, we're going to use a little 3M tape to kind of make sure that this doesn't go all over the place. I'm serious, man. I am super disappointed about how that whole thing with the pin header. That should be hard connected. It should just plug in. The VTX should just plug in and we should be done with it, but whatever. Alright, so a little bit of 3M tape. Stick down the VTX in the middle. A little more 3M tape. I'm going to stick down the receiver on top of the VTX, like right here, behind the button and the lights. So this is kind of what we got going on right now. We got like a nice little stack happening. And then this piece is going to go up over here. Camera's going to slip in. And then all this should go. Alright, so let's Alright. So we're going to put one of the screws in the front because we know that this guy only takes the screws on the side. So we get the camera mount screwed in. So we know where that's going to go. I mean, I give them credit, you know, they come up with all the little pieces and parts to hold everything together, but I am very disappointed on that VTX pin out. Alright, this is going to go like that. Let's see, for space. I'll tell you, there ain't a whole lot of space for this XM Plus, and I don't really know where it's going to go. And I don't really think this is made for this. The canopy doesn't really fit all that great. over this specific mount. I'm going to try the lower mount. I'll tell you, you people out there in YouTube land, if you could get this thing pre-built, get it pre-built. Because this is a pain in the ass. Well, thanks for the visit, my man. Or lady. Didn't really read it all that well. Nerdcopter. Thank you for the visit. Alright. Let's try this mount here again. This here. Like this. This goes like this. This has to go like this. It's the only place for it. Centered and squared. Let's see, come on, get your rear end over top of where you're supposed to go. I tell you, even the damn canopy won't fit there. Basically, once you get this whole damn thing built, you're just gonna have to stuff it all up under there. Because I honestly don't see what the hell. Maybe longer wires there. I got one screw started, and like I said, I got everything. You can see right here, I got everything jammed up. I mean, there's the VTX, the XM Plus. It's all got to fit up under there, because I don't see any. Maybe it fits down here. Maybe it's supposed to go right here. Maybe there's a little space right here. Maybe I'm doing this the hard way. Yep, I bet you I am doing this the hard way. I tell you what, we gotta take this guy apart. and remove this guy, because that's supposed to go underneath, definitely. There's space under there, so why not use it? Because I'll tell you, it definitely doesn't fit under the canopy. That's definitely not supposed to be there. That'll all fit much, much better, yeah, if that's somewhere else. So, if you can see, right below the XT60, there's a space right here. And I believe it'll sneak right in there, and then I can run the wires out the front or out the back somewhere. Maybe this other side, right up over there. I really don't want to cover that, so maybe up the front. Yeah, I think we can slip them up the front. Alright. Okay, everybody. We got to do a little bit of reorganizing here. I think that's going to help me out much, much better if I get this guy up underneath down there.
Inactivity alarm.
And then I guess we can tuck the antennas down over here, tuck them somewhere. We can wrap them up or zip tie them someplace. I'll figure that out. So basically what I gotta do is I gotta take this guy off and I gotta connect. I need much longer wires, much longer wires to start with. First I'm gonna take it off and see if it fits in that space down there. So the space, yep, there's a little space right under the battery where that goes. It would have helped knowing that way ahead of time, and it looks like I can slip the wires right through the front, and then the antennas, we'll wrap them up somehow. We'll get them off the back or something. And we'll tuck them in somewhere. And the antennas we can just take this way, and get them up in here somewhere. That's where that's got to go, for sure. Alright. I mean, we can even maybe shorten these, but... So, we gotta put longer wires on here. Get this exposed. And because this whole frame is all plastic, I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. I'm just going to get it buttoned up and figured out. I can work out the rest of this stuff later. Alright. Let's get some wires. A good way to replace wires if you're doing a build or something and something's already wired up and you're going to just swap out the wires. If you just do one at a time. Oh my goodness, I am getting real sloppy with my soldering today. If you do one at a time, you know what colors they are, and you know where they go. And then the first one was brown. Long piece of red. 5-volt. For those of you who've just joined, I've been down here building this thing forever, and I've now figured out that there's like a little pocket for this guy to sit in. So I'm going to really try to get this guy in that pocket. And I'm going to try to wrap up these antennas. I think we can get this receiver down underneath here. We're going to be in much better shape putting this guy together. And I'm going to try to bring the wires up through the front, since I got the LED wires coming out the back. Once I get this all kind of going, I'll show you what I mean. This thing took me way too long to build. Way too long. These guys. Alright. Here we are. Here's what I got so far. So we got it shoved up underneath. I got the wires coming out the front. I got the couple antennas popping up from the bottom here. And I'm going to try to tuck that up under the canopy. So that should do it. Now, we got to get these wires going up this direction. Alright, and then we're going to come up under the camera mount. Alright, now we're in business here. Now we are in business. Alright, the RX is the receiver. RX is like the nickname or the abbreviation for receiver. So this I'm putting in is an RX or receiver, and it it gets connected to the flight controller. But RX on the flight controller could be a receive. If it's labeled RX on your flight controller, that just means that's a receive pad. If it's labeled TX, that's a transmit pad. So your receiver goes to an RX pad because it's the flight controller is receiving the signal from the receiver. Alright. S bus is the first one. S bus. Alright, let's try this again. That most ridiculous attempt to try to put this thing together. That is just taking way too damn long. Camera all the way in. This we can back up a touch. Alright, now I think this is going to work. I sure hope it's going to work. I don't understand what you're asking me. What vendor for what? RX is not a vendor specific term. I'm using an XM Plus. This type of receiver that I'm using has two antennas for it's just diversity antennas. This just doesn't fit, for fuck's sake. What the fuck? This just does not fucking fit. Does not fit. This thing fucking blows. Piece of shit. I reserve my original estimation in that these little fucking 2S things suck ass. Just build a full regular whoop or a regular 2-inch carbon fiber. Look, the camera don't fit. I mean, this is supposed to be like, what? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm just retarded or something. Oh, sorry. Yeah, XM Plus, yep. Then there's the XM. which has one antenna. Yeah, they're all different. It's a FR Sky is the brand. XM Plus is the model. Fucker. And of course, the hole wasn't punched out. So now we lost the screw. Alright, let's see where we're at here. Okay. With great struggles. See, I just don't get, like, this is shit. Where is that freaking VTX supposed to go? How is that supposed to fit in there right? Even if that was pinned on it. I don't understand where you're supposed to go. Please fit in there nicely. You need to go. Yeah, you're about to get chopped right off. Alright, I think I finally am finished with this disastrous thing that took me way too long to build, in my opinion. But here we are at the end. Yeah, we got the camera in the right spot. The VTX, that was still crazy situation. I got the XM Plus buried up underneath, but now the antennas keep creeping around. I don't really know where they're supposed to go, a specific place. See, I personally like little small receivers for these guys, or internal receivers with the little tiny little antenna. But I mean, I guess supposedly I'll get range out of it. Alright, yeah. And remember, props go out this way, so we're going to put them in that direction. And it should be probably a 1mm. I think it's a 1mm shaft size, I believe. Regular sizes are 0.8. It might be bigger. It might be 1.5. I think it's a mil. Press fit. Make sure we go out. Outward rotation. Outward rotation. All right. Let's turn the controller on. I got my track set up upstairs. I'll give it a quick flight, and we'll wrap this guy up because this is just craziness. If any of you stuck around the whole time, I appreciate it. I know it's been people have been coming in and out. This one is tiny. It's built, you know, but I don't know. The VTX is flopping around in there. I have to figure that out. I'm just really disappointed that that pin header wasn't in there correctly. And then this piece, I mean, how much protection does this little thing really give you, especially for the speed that this guy's going to be whipping, you know? And the speed that all this is going to be moving, but I don't know. Let's plug it in. It's going to go in here like this. And it's going to get plugged in like this. And let's see what this LED does. Nothing. LED is not on. Maybe I have to program the LED. Alright, so I'll have to check that out in Betaflight, what's up with that. But, let's see what we got here. Alright, we got flight. Alright. Alright. Hopefully you can see that. I'll take you on the spin of my track in my house. I don't know how good and clear that is. You get at least some sort of a view. Pop on my goggles. Alright. We're going to just go and let's wipe off the screen. We're going to go in stability mode just to start off here. Now I have my indoor whoop track set up here. Oh boy, she's fast. I honestly say this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This version of it doesn't seem to be as crazy as I thought. Need some, my rates need to be changed, that's for sure. It does get going pretty fast though. Oh, my tunnel lights. I'll have to show you all the tunnel one day. Tunnel's cool. Computer, turn the tree on. Let's see if it gets it. Echo, turn the tree on. Alright, you can see now we're at 1:39 and we're getting low battery warning. So that's pretty beat. And then I got the Christmas tree on. Man, that's beat already at 6.9 volts. I'll have to tweak that a little bit, I guess. She's fast, that I will say. Alright, let's try turtle mode. Oh, that didn't work. Now the other thing is too, this thing is much heavier than a whoop. So you get a little more mass in there. Not bad, I mean, it's way more controllable than I thought it would be. That's the honest truth. Way more controllable than I thought it would be. I thought I'd just be blasting into the ceiling. And this is their rates and their, alright. 3 minutes. Not too bad, I mean, not that good either. I'm about to brown out. And we brown out. Alright. Let's back out, think on it, talk on it. You guys got anything to say, anything to ask? I mean, I just gave it pretty nice rip there. You can see that the antenna is kind of already falling off underneath here, so I'm going to have to put a little glue on that. I'm going to dive into the LED real quick, but that doesn't have to be for you guys necessarily. Camera angle wasn't bad. I say it's about 30 degrees or so. You know, a little glue to hold that in. I need to figure out the LED. But overall, not bad. I mean, I have to be honest. I was skeptical of the type, of these types, but this one, this pairing, I must say that they got it pretty good. 1103, well, it's only been one pack. 1103, 11,000 kV. See, they dropped the kV down a lot. Some of these other ones got like 16,000 kV, and you know, that's a lot crazier. 1103, I don't know, not bad. I still haven't checked my endpoints or any of the other crap yet. We literally just built it and flew it, so yeah, there you go. Let's find out what the hell's happening with this LED. Any questions at all? Want to know anything, see anything, do anything? Guess what? My XM Plus is now in the way of my USB cable. Freaking fantastic. You gotta be kidding me. I think the first order of business is figuring out what the heck to do with these antennas. And this damn XM Plus. So now it's in the way of the USB cable. Right. There we go. Yeah, this was a special, a quad box special. It wasn't like a standard box item. It was, you know, a mystery micro, they said. All right. Let's see what's up with the LED. I don't even know. I haven't even played with LEDs. I have no clue. Sensors, servos, modes, receivers, configuration. I just dropped it. Awesome. Ports, we're good with that. Does anybody know where the LED configuration crap is? I've never honestly messed with it. And I don't have a damn clue. Power and battery, failsafe, pin tuning, receiver, modes, adjustments, servos, motors, OSD, sensors, CLI. Activate boot DFU, backup restore.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Borderline, system config, warming, camera, 3D, GPS. And failsafe. Pit 2. Oh, I can tell you what we do need to do is we need to set the RSSI channel. We'll have to plug it in. Get signal.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Alright, aux 12, so that's already set up. Yeah, RSSI, that was working. Modes. I honestly don't know where LEDs is. Adjustments. Servos, motors. Anybody out there have a clue where I adjust the LEDs in Betaflight? Did they take it out? I mean, I've honestly never used it, so I really don't have a clue. Sensors. No. I don't have a clue. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to get on the old YouTube and figure it out. I mean, you have to turn it on in port somewhere. Sensor, peripherals, GPS, ESC. Disabled, black box lighting, RC trim, anyway, alright. That's all I got. You seen how to build it. I gotta figure out what to do with this guy next, because I don't know why the LED isn't working. I mean, I know it's got 5 volt and ground. Well, at least it should. Question is, I believe it's in the right spot. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But there you go. That's the quad box. Quad box mystery micro. It's the Beta 75. A little bit of a frustrating build, if I'm honest, but there you go. I'll be flying it some more. I'll put some video up of it zipping around and going into where it goes. But that's it. That's what I got. Thanks for watching, as always, and I'll see you again on the next one.